Any other questions?
Brain operating at the quantum level impact a deeper understanding of how God works or salvation itself?
So let's just state right now, we don't know a lot about the quantum level. Well, let's just say that right now. Anything we're going to say about the quantum level is going to be theoretical and speculative, and there may be evidence for it, and there is evidence for it. And I've done a lecture on the quantum mechanics of our brain, but it's emerging data, and we can't say anything with absolute certainty. But just as God is the God of the big things, and if you understand physics, there's the quantum versus Newtonian. Newtonian physics is the physics of the big things. Friction, motion, acceleration, the stuff that we're familiar with every day in our lives. That's the Newtonian physics. God is the God of Newtonian physics, the laws that govern friction, motion, gravity, and all these different things. Those are his laws that he built. God is also the God of the infinitely small things, the infinitely small matters of particles that make up all the building blocks that become the big things. On an infinitely small scale, matter actually gets down into waveform and energy, and matter becomes, on the quantum level, both a point in place and time and a wave moving through space and time. And there's an interesting quotation from Ellen White. Let me find it for you. There it is. Okay, this is from manuscript 22, 1897. It is God's plan that every part of his government shall be depend on every other part, the whole as a wheel within a wheel, working with entire harmony. He moves upon human forces, causing his spirit to touch invisible chords, and the vibration rings through the extremity of the universe. Now understand string theory. String theory on the quantum level are these invisible chords that go through every element of the entire universe, and their vibration, depending on their frequency, is what causes the mass of the individual particles of matter that make up the physical matter that we make. Ellen White was describing quantum mechanics and quantum physics before the quantum mechanics even were understood by the physicist. So it's quite profound. And so if we understand God as the God of the big things, and then God is God of little things, think about this for a moment. Can a person who is godless and has no faith in God at all use the physics of big things to set a bone, to suture a laceration? In other words, to act in ways that bring healing to somebody without acknowledging God whatsoever because of the laws of the big things that govern those things? Yes, they can. In the same way, the law of the small things, we have research, and I have this whole lecture, we're not going to go into it right now, but that when you pray, now, oh, by the way, law of the big things, can a surgeon, though, also invite God in to be part of the process and ask God to be there with them and bring his healing energy to the process as well? So the laws of God work whether a person asks him or doesn't ask him, okay? But when we ask God, I think we have better outcomes than when we don't. The law of the small things show that when you pray for somebody, that if you pray with two things, generated love in your heart. If you don't have love generated, it won't work. And willful intention. If you do both of those things, there are measurable outcomes in double-blind studies on all kinds of things. We can affect DNA conformation in blood in test tube settings. We can focus on one test tube next to the other, miles away, and pray with love and good intention that the conformation will change in one but not the other, and it will. So we have the capacity. We've done studies like this, praying for healing of patients, double-blinded, for months, and the outcome is that if you pray with love and good intention for 15 minutes a day for people, you can actually alter and have improved health outcomes that are measurable by blinded chart reviewers years down the road. They can actually go back and see the difference in the ones who were being prayed for and the ones who weren't. We've done studies on animals with carcinomas that are 100% lethal in the animal, that if they're given to a faith practitioner who will hold them and pray for them, hold the cage, not even touch them, just pray over them 15 minutes a day with real intention and love, that those cancers go into remission and those animals are cured, whereas the ones that are not getting the prayer die. It's very, very interesting and profound. And so my point is, you don't actually have to believe in God to use the physics of big things to bring healing on the big level. And in these various studies of faith, they had people who didn't believe in God at all. These were agnostics. They just instructed them to focus with love in your heart and real intention on the outcome that you want, and they still had the positive results. Because it's the quantum, the physics of little things. It doesn't mean there's not a God. People go, oh no, it proves there's no God. That doesn't prove there's no God, any more than physics of big things does. It just proves that God's laws are constant, and that we were created in his image, and he's given us certain capacities and powers to use those powers in governance of ourselves in harmony with his methods to bring healing to people. And so praying for people with love and good intention. So, interesting as well, understand the connection. If you pray to curse somebody, voodoo dolls and things like that, all the data on the quantum, which it doesn't work, because you actually have to have love in your heart in addition to real intentions. You have a hate in your heart with real intention. You don't be able, the evidence suggests that you can't access the quantum linkages to harm somebody. Only with love can you do it. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Well,
Okay.
it heals animals. Why doesn't it heal people?
It does. In the studies, it does. I don't have time to go into all today, but there's studies that show that. Yes. And didn't I do that presentation in here sometime? Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought I did. Yeah. All righty. So any other questions? That's it. So we'll see if we can't get the kinks worked out for the guys online. We're moving that direction. We'll meet again here next week at 10 o'clock. Thank you all very much.